This is Late Night Health. I'm Mark Allen. About 2 years ago, I met a beautiful young lady, and her name is Mali Phonpadidth. And we had a very nice couple of conversations and lost touch. And then about, 2-3 months ago, we realized that we had a lot in common and should be kind of talking. And so I invited Molly to come back on the show today to talk about an exciting event. I wish I could be there in the Washington, D.C. area, actually, I guess Alexandria, Virginia. And it's a flying high event. It's SOAR. Molly, welcome back to Late Night Health.
Thank you for having me. I was so afraid you wouldn't invite me back after the last conversation because we were talking about heavy, deep stuff and triumphant, coming out of grief. And so I thought, oh, grief, he's not going to call me back. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, are you kidding? And that would have been, what? What did Charlie Brown say? Good grief? He always says good grief, right? I was in Washington, D.C. Molly made the trip into the city, and we had a wonderful lunch, and we were supposed to spend, I think, 40 minutes together. It was 2.5 hours, Molly.
I know.
And it was just a tremendous experience. And then after Molly and I parted, because she had to do a TV show, I had fun just walking around the Georgetown area of D.C. So it was a great day, and Molly made the trip all worthwhile. What is happening this Friday, this weekend?
Well, Mark, this has been a dream of mine for a long time in the making. It's going to be the first ever SOAR Community Summit right outside of Washington, D.C., like you mentioned, in Old Town Alexandria. And it's really bringing leadership to a higher level of thinking. And what we have over 50 experts from around the country who are coming here to talk about legacy-driven leadership and why purposeful leadership and conscious capitalism and community and change-making, transformation can really transform our communities, our politics, our businesses, and the list goes on and on. So
and
I'm
our
so
health,
excited.
our health. And
it's definitely our health. That's why we're on the show and the program.
Right.
Definitely our health.
How'd you come up with this idea?
I have been in Washington, D.C. for a very long time. I'm a child refugee of war. My family came over here from Laos and when I was a little girl. So we crossed over the Mekong River into Thailand at the refugee camps in the United States. A church here right outside of Washington, D.C. Sponsored my family to come over. And why is that significant? That's significant because I am truly an Asian American. I'm still not necessarily even first or second generation. I'm an immigrant here. And I've been in D.C. for a long time. And DC
How old were you when you came from Laos?
I was 4, and we arrived here when I was 5. We left and escaped when I was 4. About a year later, we arrived here in D.C. when I was 5 years old.
Do you remember Laos at all?
I don't. And I'm sure that it's just repressed memories. And, as we are talking about health, our bodies and our minds know what to do sometimes to protect us, right?
Right.
And so I don't really have a memory. I believe that's my own. I know it's there. It's locked somewhere to protect me. But I do recall emotions around how I was feeling at the time when my mom or my grandparents used to tell me the story.
Wow. And from lemons, you made lemonade.
You have to, Mark. That's really what keeps us going in life. I mean, if we just roll over and give up and surrender, we miss the beauty of it all. And I don't want to miss the beauty of it all because I get a chance to have a life and be alive today when that's no longer the truth and the fact that it's my time to go to the next realm then I'll have eternity to figure that out. But while I'm here, I want to be here.
And the kinds of things that people can learn at the SOAR event include what?
Right. Well, my point about being in the D.C. area is that, we really wanted to inspire leaders locally as well as even all over the world. When they think of Washington, D.C., they think of politics and they think of all the stuff that the media throws out there. But we also miss the mark, the point that there's so many nonprofits here and grassroots initiatives that are really caring about creating change in policies. And we want to highlight those leaders as well. And we also want to talk about entrepreneurship and being successful business leaders. But beyond being successful from a profit and loss statement standpoint, what does success really look like from that higher place, from that human place, where significance and impact and purpose and passion can come to work with us too? So I'm trying to get all of our experts to talk about that critical piece of bringing yourself to work, but taking responsibility and passion for helping others along the way. When we run businesses and we have employees, our decisions aren't just impacting our bottom line, they're impacting the lives of those families and their employees and all the people in their communities. So a lot of the topics are heart-centered, but they're also very pragmatic as well. So different types of leaders can come and develop in the areas where they need development.
Helping others often is not thought of at the corporate level, though. Helping even, especially with older, I'll call them blue chip companies, type of companies, where they don't take care of their employees like newer companies. I mean, Google and Twitter, you get to play games all day. They have 6 restaurants. You can have, you can have Italian and Asian and deli, and there's a health club. All of these benefits have been shown, proven, to make a healthier, happier, and then more productive employee. But a lot of big employers don't think that way. Can we change them?
Yeah, you make a great point, and all the more reason for us to have programs and summits and conferences where we can inspire that, where we can bring the leaders who are creating that type of environment for their employees and elevating the need to, on a psychological level as well, for corporate cultures, for engagement, for even the bottom line stuff like employee retention. I mean, that absolutely impacts your bottom line. When you don't have happy, engaged employees, that turnover just keeps happening and you're bleeding out as well. So we want to make sense of what we're doing when we talk about legacy leadership from a very tactical standpoint. But when you look at it from a very high level, it's for the greater good for the entire organization.
I know that
people are leaving.
I know a lot of our fathers and our grandfathers worked 20 years, 30 years or more for a single company. My father worked 27 years before he passed for one company. I'm trying to think. My grandfather on my mother's side worked for years. I don't even know how many, for one company in different locations, but it was the same organization. I don't know what the average is now, but do employees job hop because of the...
Yeah, when I was in recruiting many years ago, they used to say that, at least in our generation, in my generation, which is Generation Xers, you would basically in a lifetime have 6 to 8 jobs, different companies. That was the average at the time. I don't know what it is now because I haven't been in recruiting for a long time, but it's certainly higher than when my dad came here and worked his first job at a car dealership. That was where he stayed until he passed away, almost 27 years being in that role with that company.
And what did he do? Where was he working?
He was maintenance. He did maintenance. He did janitorial for 3 different buildings when he came here to the U.S. And so to your point, though, These are things that we have to really consider in the new way of the generational needs of what it means to want to go to work and support you at the top level. Like if you have employees who really care about a lifestyle where they can be happy at home, where they can spend time with their family, if you don't cater to that, if you don't discuss what your leadership role can do for your employees, they're going to leave. And a lot of people are going out there and trying to start their own thing because they can't seem to be satisfied at work because no one's paying attention to their human needs, to what they want, to be happier people.
Or as my wife says, I don't like to take orders from anybody. I'm not sure. The SOAR Community Network event is taking place the 6th, beginning on the 6th of May.
Yes.
Is it the weekend?
It's May 6th. It's just a one-day, high-intensity, high-impact. Yes, we're going to have 12 different panels going on throughout the day. We're also going to have a spotlight hour, entertainment hour, and we're giving away our first ever SOAR Legacy Award to someone in the D.C. area here that's been nominated who's really giving back so much of their time and their heart to the community. And so we're going to honor a Legacy Award winner, and then we're going to have the SOAR Community Social in the early evening. Because who wants to be stuck in traffic on a Friday night when they could just have some cocktails and have wonderful conversations with leaders who really care about change and making impact happen for our global community. We're so excited.
We talk about change and giving back all the time as a way of not expecting, but knowing that if you help somebody else, you get helped yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Oh my gosh, I think that's my whole motto for life. I mean, if you think about where we started off, when I was 4 years old, we were in a tiny, tiny boat, 7 of us, well, 6.5 because my mom was pregnant with my brother in her tummy at the time, but we were on a tiny boat. We didn't even know where we were going, where we were going to end up. And here, a tiny church right outside of Washington, D.C., a Unitarian Universalist church that had no money of their own, with a very small congregation, rallied and put all their money together to support 7 people. To me, when I think about my own life and how I've benefited from kindness and generosity and love for humanity, it doesn't make sense if I didn't think that way, because other people saved my life because they cared enough to think greater than themselves.
People helping
so this
people.
Is my paying it forward.
Yeah,
absolutely.
People helping people. Our guest is Mali Phonpadidth, and she is the CEO of SOAR, the SOAR Community Network. They're having a great event, and even though we're talking about this, and some people may hear this after the event, I think it's so important for people to know about it, not only for next year, but to get involved with SOAR and with their own local communities, and that's why we asked Molly to participate with us. We're going to give some information out in just a couple of moments when we come back on how to participate. All right, I'm Mark Allen. Late Night Health continues.